So the sun goes down in 2 hours, and yet look what everything looks like, because there's a huge fire in that direction over there in St. Vincent de Beira, and we have no idea how close it is to us because we can't see anything because it's so smoky. We might have to evacuate tonight. So this is a video that I really don't want to make. I've been sick for the last week, and we have a major emergency on the go in our main village behind us of Solera. Tina's just watering the house because we have a huge fire on the way.
I'm hoping it'll grow.
What, the house?
Yeah.
I was going to say
it'll become a 2-story house.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it for what it is rather than a no house. We have this massive fire. This is only one tiny little part of it. That's reached the Gardunha Mountains, which is in the background here. And last night we were about to evacuate from the farm, but we decided to stay. But it burnt a whole bunch of villages up here. So St. Vincent de Beira, Casal de Serra, now it's gone through Luricel de Campo, and now look at this thick black smoke. This is just like apocalyptic mushroom cloud almost. And this is our main village. This is actually the evacuation point. It's not looking like much of an evacuation point right now. Today is, what is it, Wednesday the 20th of August, and I'm ill. I've been sick since last Thursday, so for like the last 6 days, I'm like, my throat feels like it's on fire, and I'm like really unwell. And so to deal with this now is just like a nightmare. Our main priorities are obviously going to be to look after ourselves and to look after our farm dogs, and to try and get us out here in one piece. So we've been moving everything away from the house, all this stuff that's kind of flammable. Fortunately, we have absolutely no lawn happening out here, so that's a real bonus. At the moment, we've got all our sprinklers on to try and wet everything down a little bit. And as you can see, I've moved all the plastic chairs and everything away from the house itself. I mean, the worst case scenario is if the piece of forest at the back here goes up. But this is actually 70 meters away from our house. So 70 meters is a very good fire break. But obviously, if all of this goes up, then we have a big problem. So I believe this fire started in Coimbra, which is really far away from us. I mean, it would take like, I don't know, an hour and a half to drive there. It started there on the 13th, and today's the 20th, so it's been going for 7 days. I don't have an accurate time frame on I don't have an accurate size on how big it is. Yesterday I was told that it had burnt over 700 square kilometers. I do apologize, I'm really ill at the moment and my brain just isn't functioning. But yeah, 700 square kilometers have been burnt. That was the estimate yesterday, and obviously today it's just been raging out of control and burning more. I mean, just look at this. This is quite scary. So obviously we have this section over here. In the background you can't even see the Gardunha Mountains, but they actually go up here. And if you look in this direction, we've got some more fire starting over here. This is in the direction of Fundão and Suta de Casa and all of that, just across that side. So you can see that's all starting up. There's huge fires that are on the top of the mountain, all the way on the top where the big antenna and stuff are. And it's completely out of control. So the plan is I'm going to get out of here and Gina needs to fight the fire. No, I'm joking, no. The plan is that we are going to hang out here because we look like we're in a better position than the actual village itself at this point. I mean, that's the...
blowing that way, not this way at the minute. I
mean, that's the evacuation point, and there's thick, black, acrid smoke going all over it. So we aren't going to go there. We also are a bit concerned because we've got our dogs, and we're not sure that we can take our dogs to this evacuation point because it's in the sort of town hall. There's going to be people in there. Our dogs don't get along with other dogs.
And they're huge. I think they let little dogs in, but not massive great hoofers.
No, exactly. So what we might end up doing, if we have to evacuate, is we might end up putting everyone in the car and driving into somewhere like Castelo Branco, which is quite far away. They have a big park there where you can park your car, and there's a big park where you can walk dogs, and there's a lake and all sorts of stuff, park benches and everything. So we might take the dogs there with some leads and bring food and everything. We've already got the car packed, it's ready to go. It's all ready to bug out, and that's an option, you know, and then we wait out obviously the flames that might potentially come over the farm.
It's going to be another long night. That's what we are, second.
Well, you're second, but I mean,
You're on your third sleep night.
Yeah, and I'm sick. I'm like, I really need to sleep. I'm like falling apart. So, yeah, but anyway, we haven't been affected. Look, as of yet, we are still fine. So we've got nothing to complain about.
And we're not going to be stupid. We're going to be safe. So
Yeah.
We're not going to, like, a house is a house. Yeah, we want to keep it safe, obviously. Look. Jeez, there was massive flames just...
Yeah.
There you go. Jesus.
And that's right next to people's houses. Okay, yeah, so we're losing houses now. But that's the whole thing is, the official advice is evacuate to the village, and they've got a section or a place where you can go. I don't think that looks very safe. It definitely looks safer where we are right now. Also, right now, the wind is blowing, well, that's north, that's west. The wind is blowing west. So the last thing we want to be able to do is go on that side there and have all the smoke blow into us. So, yeah, I think for now we're in like the best spot. But look over there, Gina, it started up again in that corner. And it's starting up again in Casal de Serra now as well. So our farm is pretty... it's pretty fire safe as far as it can get. We have really big sort of open fields, and at this time of year all of the grasses have been cut and stuff, although this was the very first year where we haven't actually tilled, so we've left the fields to go fallow, so there is a little bit of grass. But obviously, I mean, it's perfectly legal for fires, but obviously having bare soil, that's much better than having like a bit of tinder on it. So in terms of sort of danger and well, exposure to fire now, we are actually a bit more vulnerable to it this year, unfortunately, the year that this has happened. We aren't any strangers to seeing fires in Portugal because unfortunately they happen every single year. But we've also seen fires up in the mountain. I think last year we had big fires up in the mountain, but they don't tend to sort of cross from where the mountain is across to where our farm is, because that mountainous area has got a whole bunch of trees, eucalyptus, pine, and all sorts of stuff. And then as you get down the mountain and you start to come towards our farm, it becomes these big open fields and big open plains and things. And generally speaking, there's a lot of active farming going on here. So guys doing sheep and stuff. And so those fields have all been cut and they're all looked after. Joaquin, our next door neighbor, he does a lot of clearing and tidying around here. So, if a fire does come through here, it might just flash through sort of like hedgerows and things like that. But it doesn't really have anything meaty to take on.
I just keep seeing big flames licking up.
Yeah. So I'm actually quite confident that that we're going to get through this unscathed. I mean, the very worst case scenario that can happen here is Gina and I lose our lives, obviously. So that's the worst case scenario. But we aren't idiots. We aren't going to sit here and face down walls of flames and stuff like that. As soon as the fire looks like it's progressing in this direction and there's obviously big walls of flames and they're far away enough for us to safely evacuate, then the car's packed. We've got bug out bags ready, we've got stuff for the pets ready, and we've got a plan. We've got everything already organized. We've already done that for the last 2 nights. We've already been ready for this situation. And we've gone through all of the different eventualities in our heads of what can happen. So we are prepared. And we just have to face it down and see what happens.
The wind is in our favour at the minute.
Yeah. There's all sorts of different websites and things that you can basically go on and you can see the active fires. So there's one called fogos.pt, and that basically shows you a fire map. And there's something called VIRS. It's a certain type of satellite that's a visual infrared satellite. And it basically, that satellite shows where all the hot flash points are, where all the hot spots are. And you can kind of tell where the flames are. The problem is that it lags behind 3 to 6 hours because it takes it that long for the satellites to get back into position and to, and then to actually put the data together. And when there's lots of smoke like this, it also has a hard time penetrating the smoke and seeing. So it's not very accurate. And the other one is obviously Google Maps, and they can show you where fires are. They also rely on that VIRS data, and they rely on a bunch of different things. But we found with this fire, it hasn't really been accurate at all, because, last night, it wasn't even showing that the village here was on fire. Casal de Serra, Luricel de Campo, St. Vincent de Beira. It was showing that the fire was far away, and we could see that it's happening. So don't rely on those if you're in a situation and the fire is close, like, you know, with us. Normally we can rely on sight. At night time it's much easier to see the flames. This is the first day where we've had the wind in our favor, so we can actually see, whereas the last couple of days it's just been completely like covered in smoke. We couldn't see very far, and we didn't know where the fire was. We had all these huge huge things like eucalyptus leaves, big eucalyptus leaves, all black and charred, just raining out of the sky and landing on us. And we had no idea where the fire was coming from. But yeah, I found a little bit of a secret weapon. So we've got these security cameras, and they can see in infrared. And like at the moment, you can't see through the smoke here, and you can't see where the flames are. But if you have a security camera or a camera that can see in infrared, you flick into infrared mode, and it punches through the smoke, and you can actually see the hot spots and the infrared that the fire's putting out. So now I feel a bit more confident. Like tonight, if this side of the mountain comes up and starts pulling towards us, and there's lots of smoke, I'm going to be able to cut through the smoke a little bit, and I'm going to be able to see how close the fire's getting. And then another good tip if you're out here is have a look at all of the different Facebook pages. So there's, like, our village has a Facebook page. Gina said, what was your favorite one so far?
Oh, the Fundale.
No, Lurisel de Campo, wasn't it?
Lurisel de Campo have been updating super quickly, like all the time, but it's the official municipality website, not just people.
Yeah.
Do you know, because they're giving you like the correct information that they know, so rather than hearsay.
Yeah, that's another thing actually. I've had loads of people messaging and giving us like not real info, you know, telling us that villages are on fire that are definitely not on fire, and that's actually been causing a lot of anxiety for us, because we don't know whether we're waiting for the fire to come from the, you know, like from this side or from this side or from behind us. So yeah, so try not listen to panic and people freaking out. Oh, those are the bells. Are those like the church bells? No, it's a bit late for that.
That's
a fire bell.
That's the warning bell. Yeah.
Not sure if you can hear it. But yeah, so try and look at official stuff, because there's lots of people just panicking and just writing all sorts of nonsense. Obviously panicking is not going to help you in a situation like this. You just have to wait and see what happens and play it safe, and yeah.
I mean, it is nerve-wrackers. I can't even speak.
Nerve-wracking,
That's a whole new word, nerve-wrackers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super nervous, but that's kind of, we know what we're going to do and we've got a plan, so
yeah,
that's just kind of knowing when's the right time.
Yeah.
And yeah, this wind is super picking up.
Yeah.
It's going to be an issue.
I know. Yeah, I'm getting stuff in my eyes now. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that's really important here are lives. And the rest of this stuff doesn't mean anything. So just remember that if you're in a situation like this, and prepare yourself, don't panic, and just ride it out, you know, and try and envision something good and something positive coming out of it. So yeah, the church bells are going. You can see now how the smoke is really punching its way across, and it's absolutely huge now. Fortunately, it's really high up. Yesterday it was like low lying and we couldn't see anything, and now we can see in that direction. It's really coming up and over there. The wind's coming from this direction, so we might have a fire coming over the mountain this way. And we got quite a few tree lines here for it to ignite. But again, before it gets to us, we do have big open field spaces. So I'm quite confident about that. So yeah, we're going to try and, I don't know, update you guys as we go along. This is kind of where we are now.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know until you know you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and I don't know very much today, because after not very much sleep and not being able to eat because I'm stressed and it's kind of...
Well, we've been getting a couple of hours sleep, so we did like shifts. The only problem is that I'm sick, and I did a shift last night, and then when I woke up this morning after sleeping, I was really sick. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit better now, but I think it's just painkillers.
I'm dosing out with painkillers so he doesn't moan too much.
Yeah. So the doggies are quite calm, but they definitely know something's wrong because they're watching our behavior. They're very carefully following us. You guys are in good hands, don't you worry. Don't you worry a bit. We've got this under about as much control as any human could possibly. But yeah, this is a problem. So look at the size of this dog. 49 kilos the last time we weighed him. She's 38 or something, so two big bloody dogs, and it's going to make it difficult for us.
We looked yesterday to see if we could stay the night in a pet-friendly hotel in Castelo Branco, and they were like, yes, of course you can bring dogs, but how big are they?
Yeah, as long as they're less than 15 kilos.
15 kilos, I was like, that's like Eddie's foot.
And they wouldn't allow us to chop our dogs into pieces either. So, we couldn't like divide them into 4 pieces.
Also don't think we can sneak them in either.
Yeah, so it's going to make it challenging. And also, there is an evacuation point over there. It's the Junta de Freguesia, like the town hall, the village hall. The problem is it's going to have a whole bunch of people in there, and we're going to bring 2 big dogs in there that have only lived on a farm. They don't know other people. If there's other dogs there, there's going to be a problem. So yeah, it kind of limits our opportunities. Bear that in mind when you buy a farm and you want to buy yourself a big old dog. So for the last few days, while we had all of that thick smoke in the air and we had all the stuff coming down, look what's happened to our swimming pool. It's like completely full of charcoal and bits, which is a real shame. Anyway, we'll get this cleaned up. But yeah, it's absolutely filthy. The air was so bad that we were stuck in the house for the last couple of days and we couldn't open up the doors and stuff, otherwise we'd just let smoke in. It's kind of like a weird sort of fate thing, because a couple of days before the fire started, just out of the blue, I was on Amazon and I was like, hey, I should buy an air purifier. And I went and bought an air purifier, like this big sort of tower air purifier that can take out like all different, it can basically clean up the air and take out like, particles and all sorts of stuff. It's got like carbon and a HEPA filter and stuff. So yeah, I bought one of those, and then suddenly we have this fire and we can't open up the doors for 3 days. And so yeah, we just had that thing running full blast in the house, and it's done a really good job, I must say. Like, if you are going to stay somewhere where there are going to be wildfires and forest fires, try getting one of those, and don't buy a small one. Buy one that can actually deal with your house nicely. I think it's been a lifesaver, because we honestly couldn't open up the windows or doors for about 3 days. So, and every time we opened up the door, well, we had to open up the door to let the dogs out, and every time that we did that, smoke would come into the house, and obviously if we carried on doing that, it would have been a nightmare. So yeah, it's been a lifesaver to have that. But yeah, imagine what my voice would sound like if I didn't have one of those. So we've got a mama hen with 2 little baby chicks, and we're trying to get them inside, but now one of the dogs are in the way. Mimo, come on this way. This way. How many eggs today?
4, but I think the brown chicken's sitting on some and I don't want to disturb her. She's not roosting, she's just sitting on them because that's where she wants to sleep.
Oh, well, that's not bad. 4 eggs. They've had a very stressful week with all the smoke and stuff, so it's pretty good. Yeah, so this is all nice and watered now. We've watered this for like the last hour, so it's completely waterlogged, and hopefully that'll help it from igniting. So it's been about 20 minutes, half an hour. We've been inside. Oh man, I forgot my mask. But anyway, look over there. So this is the fire that's coming from São Vincent de Beira. And yeah, look at that. So this now is a worry for us. We have the wind blowing directly at us. That's the issue. The one in Suilheira, that seems to have almost passed. I think it's almost gone right through the village. I'm not sure where it is now.
Big bit over there still.
Yeah, so we've got kind of Lourissal de Campo seems to have a lot of smoke going on. Casal de Serra's got a bit of smoke going on. This looks pretty serious, and the wind's blowing this way, so yeah, we got to keep our eyes on this one. Gina, you might have some roast vegetables.
Yeah.
Do you want roast vegetables?
I'd like to roast them on my own terms.
That fire that came through the village lasted about half an hour, and it just it looked really intense, and there were thick plumes of black smoke and everything, and now I'm not seeing anything. I'm not sure if they had like some kind of advanced firefighting going on that put it out that quick, or whether it was just so intense it just came straight through and just ripped through everything. But it seems like there's not much burning there, but there's a hell of a lot of smoke. This is the worry now for us. There's quite a few lines of trees and things to get through, and once it gets through those and works its way through here, then it's got some big open field sections. So I'm hoping that gives us some protection. Memes, are you completely oblivious? She says, no, I know there's something going on with you guys. She says, I know there's something wrong with you. I know, but I don't know what, and I'm trying to comfort you. So The fire that's gone through Suelera doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for us, but we've got another front on this side and a lot of wind. And as you can probably see, look at the forest over here of eucalyptus and pine. Look at that wind is tearing through there. And look at all of this smoke happening in the sunset in the background. This area that we're looking at here, this is São Vicente de Beira. And that actually burnt yesterday, or parts of it burnt yesterday. It looks like it might be reigniting, as we can see with all these plumes. And obviously the wind is bringing it towards us. Don't worry, little doggies, it's all going to be fine. We've got it under about as much control as we possibly can, which isn't very much. But what can you do? I would much rather be doing this without having the flu. I'm feeling incredibly weak. Well, I don't actually know what's wrong with me. I've basically had like a really sore throat and sore ears and stuff since Thursday last week, and it's Wednesday today, so 6 days. And it's getting worse and worse every single day. And today I was having like green phlegm. So that's not a good sign. But I haven't been sleeping because of the fires. Oh my goodness, God, and wow, they look pretty crazy over there. That's the one that I'm worried about, because that's being blown straight towards us. That's not good. If you're wondering what those are, these are our solar panels. We've flipped them over in case hot embers land on them. That's about as good as I can do, really. I don't want hot coals landing on them and burning their surface. Jeez, look at that. It's quite eerie. Mimo, what you seeing, my girl? What you seeing? Are you defending the farm from the invisible monsters? Yeah, these dogs aren't quite sure what we're stressing about. They can obviously smell something's different. And for the last couple of days, we've been locked up in the house with an air filter running and all sorts. So they know something's wrong, but they're not quite sure what. And this place is in a big bloody mess. Because we've had to move everything out and about to get it away from the house, All right, doggies. We've got bags packed. We've got a battery pack. We've got essentials. And let's hope we don't need it. All right, so now we can see this other fire. Look at this. Look at the smoke in the horizon on the hills. The wind blowing directly to us. But I think it's going to miss us. It looks like it's kind of heading this way a little bit. Hopefully. It's been like almost a week now that I've been sick with this. And I don't think tonight I'm going to get very good sleep again, because we just have to watch out for these fires. At least now there isn't that much smoke, and we're actually able to see. Yesterday we couldn't even see down to the bottom of our. Oh my goodness! Listen to my voice. We couldn't even see down to the bottom of our olive grove, and so I had no idea flames were arriving, and we were getting like big things falling, like eucalyptus leaves and all sorts of stuff. Jeez, I sound terrible. Oh yeah, look at this. So you can see a bit better. This is São Vicente de Beira, and look at all of that smoke. Fortunately, even though the wind feels like it's blowing this way, over there the smoke seems to be going that way.
And then there's glowing behind the bender tree.
Yeah, so there's still, Luis del Campo still has some fire.
No, but Suelera does too.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night. Oh man, I'm just getting ash in my eyes. Yeah, it's a good idea actually.
Oh, that's because they've shut the motorway. Apparently, I've just seen that it's jumped the motorway, so it's on its, I hope they thought they were going to use it as a fire break, but it hasn't. It's jumped the motorway. So
yesterday, the fire basically passed into and right through our local village of Suelera, which is crazy. I mean, we kind of saw it all from here on the farm while we were keeping watch of our place. And the village is down there. That's the village. You can see we got some smoke coming up and out. We got some planes in the sky still. This area in the background here that's burning, this looks like, it's called St. Field. It was like a college. So yeah, we couldn't leave here yesterday because we had a fire threatening us from this side. So we had to stay on the farm and basically watch everything happen in this direction. And yeah, it was quite a vantage point here where we saw the mountain sort of coming, or saw the fire coming down the mountain and towards the village, and then all of the sirens going on. And on the Facebook pages, it looks like there was absolute chaos there. So we want to pop into the village today and just have a look. So now our dirty car, we can just blame it on the ash. I'm starting to feel a bit more human again. Today is day 7 of being sick with whatever the hell this is. But I woke up this morning and my throat wasn't like absolutely torn to shreds, and it was a little bit sore, but I haven't even had to take any painkillers today. I'm just kind of going through it, but I have a feeling that I'm getting better, thankfully. So we're going into the village now. I'm not seeing any damage or anything. As you can see, everything here is just like tiles and brick and cement. So there's not much to burn around this part. But I think most of the damage was happening around the north side of the village. Our viewpoint from the farm, when we were watching it, it looked like the whole village went up. I mean, it was quite crazy. We were obviously only seeing certain parts of it. So our village has got its own fire station, which is just in the background there behind this white wall, and we can see some of the big fire trucks and tankers and things like that. I think at the moment there's around 1,600 firefighting personnel which are out and about, which is pretty amazing. Now, I heard that next to the petrol station that there was some kind of fire damage somewhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was coming from this area just behind the petrol station. So just across from the petrol station here, we can see some of the burning here that happened behind these houses. And this is like a big open area of like granite stones and typical sort of Central Portuguese vegetation. So all of this burnt up nicely. Looks like there's a house just over there that's taken some damage. There's no windows in it. But yeah, for the most part, these houses across here look all right. And then we've got quite a lot of burn happening just at the back there, or burnt areas. Yeah, I'm actually quite relieved. I was quite worried about it because it looked so severe from where we were, like as this whole huge wall of flame and smoke and everything just came pouring into the village. And I honestly thought that like a lot of stuff had been lost. Yeah, so here's the Bombeiros, the fire department. Geez, look at the size of that thing. Yeah, it's been a wild couple of weeks. A couple of nights, weeks. I mean, I'm so out of time, I'm so out of sync. It's been quite surreal being sick and having all this happen, you know.
It feels like it's been 2 weeks with no sleep for 2 days.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Yeah, so we can see the fires come through here. This is in the direction of the village here. We're on the outskirts of the village, but yeah, it's come straight through. This is all eucalyptus and stuff. Still smoldering and smoking just down here. And then we look on this side and we've got like lots of burnt stuff happening.
But look at the difference in the ploughed fields.
Yeah, so where they've tilled the soil, obviously nothing's burnt. Yeah. So this is kind of the border of the village now. Jeez, yeah, this is quite extreme.
Am I going this way or that way?
No, you're supposed to go left. I mean, you can go up here if you wanted to, but
It goes onto a dirt track.
Gina doesn't like driving on dirt tracks. She wasn't brought up in South Africa like I was. Yeah, look at this big truck. These guys have been working tirelessly. So this area here you can see was unhit, but I mean you can see just how easily a fire could like roar through here. Look how tightly packed all of these pines are. I mean, I heard that the area by the sports field here, by the football field, was all burnt. This doesn't actually look too bad. It actually doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this is not too bad, fortunately. And obviously over here, nothing burnt, because there's nothing to burn. You know, we're inside the middle of a village. I mean, you know, everything's possible, okay, but there's no like trees or vegetation around here that can catch a light, and just a bunch of granite buildings. So yeah, I'm really glad to see that this is all safe. You know, we've driven around a little bit and there is some vegetation around some of the houses on the outskirts that's been burnt, but I haven't really seen any major damage on houses. Obviously we haven't gone through the entire village, you know, but yeah, it's not as bad as it sounded. I mean, we were seeing Facebook messages of people saying, please help, the roof is burning and all sorts of stuff, and I mean, obviously we've missed that.
I mean, I think there's still some more houses like north of the village that may be
Must be, yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure it was absolutely horrifying for that fire to come through, because that fire would have come through the village with the smoke and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But there's not as much devastation as it was sounding like there was going to be.
And we're not out of the woods yet. I mean, there are still patches. Look at this in front. So just back here on the ridge, it's all actively burning and smoky. And this is going in the direction of Castelnuovo, which is around that side. In fact, that's probably what's burning and smoking. Apparently, they got hit really badly. And then from Castelnuovo, it spread and went to El Pedrinho, I think, according to the fire maps. Look at these fields here. Look how they've burnt. Only in small areas where it's been tilled or where the grass is cut, it's fine. And only the areas where there was like bushes and vegetation and stuff has it burnt. So, this gives you a good idea of how you clean your land to be fire safe here. Now, we're not going to head into like Castelnuovo or anything like that, because the fire only just came through there quite recently, and, we don't want to get in the way of anything.
Well, I think it's still going.
Yeah, exactly. These are the Suolera cheese factories. There's 2 of them next to each other, and they're completely untouched, fortunately. So we went to a neighboring village just to get ourselves a rotisserie chicken. The Portuguese chicken is the best, It's going to be our lunch. But from here, earlier before I took the camera out, you could see the Gardenia Mountains really well. So they're in the background here. And yeah, I mean, it looks like most of the mountains have burnt and are still kind of smoldering and on fire. So yeah, it's quite a sight, really. This year I haven't actually been up the mountain on my bike yet, so I guess once the fire's all put out and everything, I need to take one of my e-bikes up there and go and have a look, because I believe on the top of the mountain that's where it got really badly hit. It's actually amazing, this year our lake has got so much water in. Normally at the end of summer you can see a whole bunch of stones and rocks appearing, but yeah, it's been a very wet year. And I don't know if you caught my videos, my farm life videos from like spring and stuff, and I was actually talking about this. I kind of predicted that we were going to have a really bad fire season because it was such a wet year. And normally what happens is if the farmers go around and they cut the fields and they till the fields, and then the summer arrives and the fields are all nice and taken care of. What happened this year was the farmers did all of that, and then all of the rains came and all the fields grew back again, and we had all of this extra vegetation lying around where normally you wouldn't have. And so I kind of knew that we were going to have a bad fire season, but I didn't predict it was going to be as bad as the major fire, the 2017 fires. So we thought we'd take a little detour on the way home and have a look at Luricel do Campo, which is a little village next door to our village, and it got hit like 2 days ago. So.
And yesterday.
Well, yeah, and yesterday. So 2 days ago, got hit for the first time, and then last night the fire was quite big. We can see there's still some smoke up on the side of the mountain. Yeah, that is burnt black. I mean, there's nothing left to burn up on the mountain. Yeah, so this is on the way into, we're sort of just outside Suolera, and we're not quite in Luricel do Campo yet. That's all around the corner. But yeah, here we can't see any damage in this sort of built up part. Yeah, look at that. We're still smoldering. We still have green trees that could burn up in the mountain, and some smoldering bits. Yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be all burnt and there's nothing left to burn, but I mean, if you look at that, there's still greenery up there, so it can still burn.
So which means in the wind it can still reignite.
Yeah, so we probably will have a few reignitions tonight or today. There's no wind now. So this is the village of Luricel do Campo, and as you can see, the actual village centre looks totally untouched, which I guess is because it's all like, granite stones and everything. There's nothing really to burn. Look at these beautiful buildings. Look at this one over here with these balconies. I love that building. It's like a real old traditional building. I actually really love the look of this little village. It's very cute. It's like a proper old Portuguese village.
I want to doubly say that their Junta Facebook page has been the best one for the whole of this last couple of days.
Like the most updated one.
Like constantly updating and new information. And
yeah. No, it was good. So during these fires, obviously you want to get information and find out what's going on. I think if you live in a village, it's easier to find out information. But when you're like Gina and I, and you're living, a kilometre or two outside of a village, you have to rely on stuff that you find on the internet. So we're looking at all of the different pages from the different villages. They have these Junta de Freguesia pages for each of the villages, and you go onto the Facebook page, and then you can get the information on there on things like evacuation orders and stuff. And then we're also looking at sites that show you fire maps and things, and trying to rely on this information. And unfortunately, a lot of it wasn't correct. Even some of the fire maps just were taking like a day to update. Maybe some kind of work needs to be done on that, because not everyone lives inside a village, and
or has access to the internet when the fires are raging through.
No, exactly. Yeah, look at that. Hey? So we are still actively smouldering and burning. Jeez. Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. So you look at this is eucalyptus, and this eucalyptus, although the fire's gone past it, it hasn't actually burnt it. As in, like, the eucalyptus trees are actually still standing, and they never ignited. Eucalyptus gets a really bad name in fires, and I think it's worthwhile, because at the end of the day, when they get hot enough, they can explode and send like hot oil up. But look, a lot of these eucalyptus are still standing here, totally fine.
Lines and electricity cables just hanging very low in the road.
Well, look, the poles have fallen over. So they got some of these electrical poles are made out of wood. I mean, that's a terrible idea. They're supposed to be concrete. Anyway, what can you do? Yeah, okay, so this is quite devastated, huh? Jeez.
You wouldn't have wanted to be driving down this road when it was...
No. This would have been terrifying. Wow.
Do you know, maybe that's one thing that they learned, was in 2017, wasn't there quite a lot of deaths on the road where people were caught in fires?
Yeah.
And this year they seem to have closed the roads quite quickly before the fire is even getting to...
Yeah, no, exactly. Here we go, Casal de Serra. So it's good to see, look, all the houses and stuff seem to be untouched. The firefighters have obviously done a really brilliant job of defending the village, defending the houses. And, TV reporting.
Bearer TV or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Right, so it looks like they have an active operation going on here, so I think we just need to get out of here and not get in the way. Well, the mountain's certainly looking different. We've seen a couple of fires in Portugal since we've been here. We've been here for like 6 years. And last year, this mountain got quite a bad burn. I made some videos of that, actually. But obviously, this takes the cake. I mean, this is the biggest one yet that we've seen. And yeah, it is a sad reality of living in Portugal. They do have bad wildfires. But people need to realize that it's not just Portugal that has this. The entire Mediterranean or Iberian Peninsula, it all has these big wildfires. And yes, there are properties that you can buy that are going to be super dangerous in wildfires. And then there's properties that you can buy that are going to be quite protected. And there's certain styles of houses that you can buy. Like, obviously, if you have a log cabin in an area surrounded, in a eucalyptus forest, then, you're asking for trouble. But if you do have one of these stone or concrete houses or brick houses, and you don't have any wood in the roofs, no plastics or anything like that, you'll be surprised how everything around it can burn, and the house will just be sitting there with absolutely no damage. So it is possible. All right, enough nosiness. I'm hungry. Let's go and eat that chicken. Portuguese chicken. There's just something about it that you don't get anywhere else in the world.
Molho that goes with it.
Molho, the sauce. Yeah, they do really good sauces. Even if you buy it from a supermarket like what we just did, But yeah, Portuguese chicken, amazing. What have you got there? What are you munching on? What are you munching on, you Grace dog?
It's like I'm eating my own cider.
She's eating a dried pear. Is that nice? She's like, yeah, it's really tasty. Is it tasty? Oh, disgusting. Yeah, it's probably fermented, and she's getting some kind of like alcohol content out of it.
She's drunk by it, like she's not a moody enough bitch dog anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, our dogs hate alcohol. Our old dog, Dog, he absolutely loved alcohol. I used to give him beer all the time. But these dogs, if you let them sniff beer, they get really offended. Yeah, it's like the most disgusting thing that they've ever smelt. And they like turn their noses up at it as if it's like chloroform or something. But yeah, Dog, he used to enjoy having a little sip of beer.
It makes you sound like you gave him pints of beer. You'd have like a tiny drop of beer.
Look, he lived a long, happy life. So, you know, if it was the beer, then, you know. But yeah, not whenever, otherwise, like, I don't think he would have lived very long. But sometimes I would give him a little dash of beer in his bowl, and he used to really enjoy that. He would look at me drinking a beer, and he'd look at me, and I'd look at him, and then he'd lick his lips like, and then I knew, okay, he wants a sip of beer. And then I'd give him some beer, you know. And he lived till what? 12? 14?
14. So look, they're going back out again. They're obviously going another round back out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Actually,
yeah, I mean, the time now is 7:30. So 7:30, and the sun goes down at 8 o'clock. So they got a little bit longer to go. These fire planes are super advanced, even though they look like quite old planes, especially the old Canadair ones. For firefighting, there's nothing better than these planes. They just don't have them. But what's surprising to me is that they don't have ones that can actually fly at night time. You know, there's all sorts of things that they could be using: infrared, FLIR, fluorescent infrared. So yeah, probably, well, hopefully we'll see something like that in future. And these guys will be able to dump water on fires at night time, because that's when these fires progress the worst. So this is the best thing about the dog walk, is finding disgusting objects, eating them, and being gross. So it's been a while since we've done like a farm life vlog, and yeah, this is not, as I said in the beginning, this is not the video that I wanted to make. Fortunately, things went well. We were quite worried. It was touch and go for a while.
Yeah.
But it seems like most of the fire is in this area. It's all under control.
Yes, in this area. We're obviously thinking about people where it's moving on to, because it's a scary time.
Yeah, and I don't think we have to be on full-on watch like we have been for the last couple of nights. I think tonight we can rest a little bit better.
Yeah.
We also still can't open up our windows because there's a lot of smoke and pollutants in the air. Wow, look at that plane going over. Amazing. And yeah, but I have a strong feeling that by tomorrow this area is going to be safe. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. So I think this is where we're going to end it, and I'm going to try and put this together and see if I can release this quickly for you guys so you can see exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, and good luck to everyone who's in Portugal trying to stay safe.
Yeah. All the best, everyone.
Ciao.
Ciao.